A good podcast hosting company can be the difference between stressful podcasting and worry-free podcasting. And if you're getting started with your own podcast, then this could be one of the most important decisions that you make. In this video, we will take a look at the top 10 podcast hosting companies based on my evaluation on the criteria that we discussed in the last week's video, so that you don't have to go through that entire process of finding the best podcast host and you can start off worry-free. And watch the video till the end to know which are my favorite podcast hosts. Hello and welcome to TPU TV. This is Dilip. If you're new here and are planning to get started with your own podcast, then you're at the right place. Every Thursday, I release a video on one podcasting related aspect that will help you get started with your own podcast. So go ahead and subscribe to the channel right away, and don't forget to press the bell notification in order to stay updated with the latest videos that I come out with. For people who don't know me, I'm a podcaster, blogger and affiliate marketer, and I'm the host of a podcast, the Podcasting University, which is basically about podcasts and podcasting tips. So if you haven't subscribed to that podcast, you'll be able to find the link in the description below. Go ahead and subscribe to the show. I release an episode every Tuesday on the Podcasting University podcast. On to today's video. Now this is in continuation with the discussion that we started the last week. So if you haven't watched the last week's video, then you will be able to find a link somewhere here on the I button. Go ahead and watch that video, where I talk about a few things that you need to keep in mind in order to find the best podcast hosting company. This week, we are going to talk about the top 10 podcast hosting companies based on those features that we discussed and based on my evaluation. So let's get started with today's video. Number 1, Acast. Acast is one of the best and the easiest podcast hosting platform around, which also offers you a free plan to get started with, and everything is unlimited for free on the free platform as well. So if you want to start off with free and later upgrade to a premium plan, you can always do that on Acast, and you have a variety of plans there which you can pick, and you have some pretty straightforward paid plans there which you can decide based on your requirements and then upgrade seamlessly without having to jump through multiple hoops. The plans start from about $14.99 per month if you are paying annually, and offers you everything unlimited, unlimited downloads, unlimited analytics, unlimited storage space. So pretty much everything is unlimited, and you also get pretty much all the features that I spoke about in the last week's video, like for example monetization, distribution, integrations, and pretty much everything. So their lowest plan, which starts at about $14.99 in itself, is a self-sufficient plan, so you don't have to look for an upgraded plan. You can go with the $14.99 plan and that should be good enough. And if you want to start your podcast for free, you can always start for free with Acast and later upgrade to the paid plan. The only difference or the only limitation in the free plan is that you won't be able to monetize your podcast using the monetization option. Number 2, Buzzsprout, another excellent podcast hosting company and number 2 on my list. They have a free plan as well, but comes with some serious limitations. So if you're planning to start for free on Buzzsprout, then you might want to look at the limitations there. The plans start for about $12 per month, which gives you about 3 hours of upload per month. Now, if you're somebody who releases interview episodes that go on for about 60 minutes and you release about 4 episodes every month, then the lowest plan is not going to work for you. You will have to upgrade to the next plan, which is about $18 per month and will give you about 6 hours of episode uploads, which can be expensive for some people, but is pretty much the same as what most podcast companies charge. Now, in pretty much all the plans, you get advanced statistics, which is IAB certified statistics, just as in Acast as well, which is also IAB certified. You get IAB certified stats, you get advanced analytics, you get the option of monetizing your show. So pretty much all of those options are there in all paid plans with Buzzsprout. But the only limitation is in terms of the number of hours of episode that you will be able to upload on each of these plans. Now, if you're looking for transcription and editing tools, then you will have to pay additional. But advanced statistics and monetization is available on all the plans, which is a good thing. Number 3, Blueberry. Now, Blueberry has a pretty straightforward plan. They have a very simple plan. In fact, they have two plans. The lowest starts at about $10 per month. There are no free options available, so that is something that you might want to keep in mind. The only limitation with the basic plan, which is a $10 per month plan, is that it gives you only basic statistics, which is again IAB certified. Blueberry is also an IAB certified podcast host, but that basic statistics isn't enough if you look at from a growth perspective. So you have to have access to advanced analytics if you're looking at growing your podcast from a long-term perspective. So which means that you will have to upgrade your plan from the $10 per month to the next plan. The lowest plan gives you about 125 MB of upload per month, which is good enough if you are somebody who releases about 4 episodes per month of about 60 minutes each. So 125 MB of upload should be good enough. But if you exceed that, you might have to upgrade to the next plan. But monetization options are available on pretty much all the plans, which is a good thing. And since the statistics are IAB certified, you know that the data that you're getting is reliable. Number 4, Libsyn. Now, Libsyn is one of the oldest podcast hosting platforms that I know of, and probably one of the first podcast hosting platforms that I heard after I watched a few videos from Pat Flynn, because Pat used to host his podcast with Libsyn. I'm not sure where he's hosting it right now, but he used to host his podcast with Libsyn. Now, Libsyn also has some pretty straightforward plans. It starts at about $5 per month, but there are some serious limitations on the basic plan that starts at about $5. The statistics that you get is in the base form of snapshots, which isn't good enough. You're limited to about 3 hours or 162 MB of upload, whichever is lower, which means that you will hit the 3-hour ceiling if you release about 4 episodes of about 60 minutes each, which means you'll have to upgrade to the next plan. So if you are a serious podcaster, then you will have to look at the next plan, which starts at about $15 per month. There are no free options in Libsyn, but Libsyn has another platform which basically offers free podcasting, which is something that you will want to look at if you're looking for a free option. Now, in the basic plan, which is for about $5 per month, if you're looking for even the basic statistics, you'll have to pay about $2 additional per month. So overall, if I look at it, the basic plan that starts at about $5 per month isn't something that is recommended. So if you're planning to go with Libsyn, then you will have to look at the next plan, which is starting at about $15 per month. Number 5, Podbean. Podbean is another excellent podcast hosting company that offers you some pretty straightforward plans and gives you a lot of the features that I spoke about in my last video. So their plans start at about $14 per month if you're paying monthly and $9 per month if you're paying annually. So like what I discussed in my last video, if you're starting off, go on the monthly plan, try them out, and only then upgrade to the annual plan. While the annual plan will give you a lot of savings, I would recommend trying them out at least for about a month before you actually upgrade to the annual plan. Now for that $9 per month, you get pretty much everything unlimited. There is no limitations on the uploads or anything. The only thing is that you will only be able to do audio podcasting. If you're looking at video podcasting, you will have to look at their next plans. Their statistics are IAB certified, so they are reliable. And from a support perspective, they are amazing. They are simply amazing. But the only caveat is that you won't get subscription options, which is paid subscription options for your podcast on their lowest plans. Number 6, RSS.com. RSS is a very simple podcasting platform and I absolutely love their interface. And it's very easy to use as well. But the only caveat is that their statistics isn't IAB certified so far as I know. At least till now, it isn't IAB certified, which is the only caveat with RSS.com. But otherwise, they have a pretty straightforward plan, single plan in fact, which offers you unlimited everything. It starts off at about $12.99 per month if paid monthly and about $8.99 per month if you pay annually. So like what I said, you might want to start off with the monthly plan to check them out and only then upgrade to the annual plan. But you get pretty much everything unlimited for a low cost of about $8.99. You also get advanced analytics and monetization option. But the only thing that you might want to keep in mind is that the analytics is not IAB certified. So I don't know how much reliable that data will be. But from what I've heard, their statistics is pretty robust. Their infrastructure is robust and their interface is clean and nice. It's pretty easy to get started with RSS.com. Number 7, Sounder. Sounder is another very nice podcast host and probably one of the newest podcast hosting companies around. It started somewhere around 2019 so far as I know. I've used them for one of my podcasts and their interface is pretty easy to use, pretty clean and nice. You get pretty much everything unlimited except for the downloads. Now, Sounder restricts this basic plan, which is a Sounder Plus plan. They have a pretty straightforward pricing and has a plan that starts at about $12.99 per month. They restrict your downloads to about 50k streams or 50k listens per month. So if you exceed that many number of listens, then you might want to upgrade to the enterprise plan, for which you will have to reach out to their support. You get detailed and advanced analytics, though it is not IAB certified, but the analytics I've heard is pretty good and pretty extensive. So that way, that is something that you can go for. But again, the reliability is something that I'm not really sure of because it is not IAB certified. Monetization options are available on all the plans, which is something that is good. And one of the things that makes Sounder's plan different from the rest of the plans is that they offer transcription options on pretty much all their plans. So that is something that isn't available in some of the other podcast hosts that we spoke about. Number 8, Spreaker. Now Spreaker is an IAB certified host, but if you're wondering as to why Spreaker is so low in my list of top podcast hosting companies, then I'll come to that in a little while from now. But Spreaker is a nice host and I've heard some good reviews from people about Spreaker, though that is not something that I experienced. But they have a lot of different plans depending upon your requirement. You can pick whatever suits you. Now they also have a free plan, but it is seriously limited on a lot of things. You can only upload about 10 hours of episodes on the free plan. So if you're going for the free plan, then that is something that you might want to keep in mind. Now their plans start at about $8 per month, and for $8 you get about 100 hours of upload. Now keep in mind that these hours of upload are your lifetime limits, which means that the day you exceed that 100 hours of upload, you will have to automatically move into the next plan, which they call as the broadcaster plan, and which is for about $20 per month. That will give you about 500 hours of upload. Now, all of their plans are restricted to this lifetime uploads. Now, 500 hours is a good amount of time. Now, even if your episodes are about 1 hour each, then you will be able to upload about 500 episodes on the broadcaster plan, which will cost you about $20 per month. But it's still a serious limitation because once you cross that many number of hours, you will have to automatically upgrade to the next plan, which can prove expensive. Though in the long term, if you've already released about 500 episodes, you might not worry a lot about that. But still, I consider that as a serious limitation, and hence it's not an ideal plan from a long-term perspective. But still, Spreaker has some excellent features. They give you a lot of features like podcast monetization options, advanced analytics, a nice and simple interface, dashboard. Everything is good. But I didn't find Spreaker to my satisfaction because their customer support was next to pathetic. I had reached out to them a couple of times, and every time I reached out to them, they didn't respond to my messages for up to about 2 days. And when I asked them about the reason why they didn't respond, they gave me some lame reason, which wasn't really convincing from a customer perspective. So from a customer support perspective, I rate them 0, which is why they are featuring so low on my list of podcast hosting companies. But like what I said, there are a lot of people who review them as good. So if you're planning to go with Spreaker, then I would recommend testing them out before you decide on going with them for the long term. Number 9. Transistor. Transistor.fm is another very interesting and nice podcast hosting company. But this and the next one that I'm going to talk about come low on to the top 10 podcast hosting companies primarily because of some serious limitations. They limit your downloads, which isn't something that I recommend to any podcaster who's planning to get started. Transistor plans start at about $19 per month, and they give you everything including advanced analytics. But Transistor plans start from about $19 per month, for which they give you pretty much everything including advanced analytics, but no podcast monetization options. Also, they limit you to about 50 private podcast subscribers and about 20,000 downloads per month, which is a serious limitation for a $19 plan. And that is why they are showing up so low on my list of the top 10 podcasting companies. Their stats, so far as I know, isn't IAB certified. And if I look at all of these reasons, I don't really have a reason for going with Transistor. But if you're somebody who has heard good things about Transistor, then you can always go with them. But I would recommend trying them out first. Number 10, Captivate. Now, like what I said, Captivate is another podcast host which limits downloads, which isn't something that I recommend. But they have some pretty straightforward plans, and they are IAB certified, which means that you can rest assured that the data that you're giving you is reliable. Their plans start at about £19, which translates to about $21 per month. if you're paying monthly. And they give you pretty much everything. You get IAB certified stats, podcast monetization option, unlimited storage, and unlimited podcast on a single plan. They also have a limitation on the private podcast. They limit you to about 150 subscribers. So which means if you hit that limit, you will have to upgrade to their next plan. They also come with a nice WordPress plugin, which is something that you might want to consider if you're running a website using WordPress. So those were the top 10 podcast hosting companies according to my research and according to my evaluation based on the features that I spoke about in the last week's episode. Now, which out of these podcast hosting companies have you heard about or heard good things about? Comment below and let me know. I would like to hear your thoughts. Now, on to my favorite podcast host. So obviously, it is Acast, which is my favorite podcast hosting company, and I host with them because they are probably one of the only podcast hosts that doesn't limit you to anything and gives you more value per dollar spent. They also have pretty much everything, including podcast monetization, advanced analytics, a nice interface, very simple to use. So I'm pretty happy with Acast, and I recommend Acast if you're planning to get started. You can get started for free and then upgrade to a paid plan depending upon how your experience is. My second favorite one is Buzzsprout. Like what I said, Buzzsprout is an amazing podcast hosting platform, gives you a lot of features and comes with advanced analytics and podcast monetization feature as well. And my third favorite is Sounder. Though they are not IAB certified from a statistics perspective, they are still a very nice company, excellent support, and a very simple to use interface. So those were my favorite podcast hosting platforms. So I hope you found value in this video. If you did, then please do subscribe to the channel and hit the bell notification to stay updated with the latest videos that I come out with. And don't forget to give a thumbs up to this video if you liked it. If you have any questions, you can put them in the comments below and I will respond to them there. Or if you want me to create any videos on a specific topic, let me know and I'll create a video there. That is all that I have for this video. I'll be back again the next week. Keep watching TPU TV. And if you haven't subscribed to the podcast, you'll be able to find the links in the description below. Subscribe to the podcast and listen to my episodes that I release every Tuesday. And you will also be able to find a list of all the recommended podcast hosting tools and all of the hosts that I just spoke about in the description box. So if you want to check them out, please go and hit the link there and check them out. Some of the links in the description box are affiliate links. So if you click them and buy, I might earn a small commission at no extra cost to you. That is all that I have for this week. I'll be back again the next week with another podcasting related information. Until then, keep watching TPU TV.